It's a great honor to be a part of Sister Winifred's upcoming event towards the end of May, the Africa Fora event that is about uniting people of African descent and creating conversations between people of African descent.
This is a special edition on Africa Week in France between 24th of May and the 27th of May, 2024. It is titled NZUKO 2024. We are speaking with a former director of marketing of the largest radio station in Nigeria, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, the volunteer publicist of NZUKO 2024, Mrs. Veronica Ngozi Oshokoya. You're welcome to Prof Television.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. I'm pleased to be on this program, and it's an experience that I'd always longed, to have. Knowing your expertise, your experience, your skill, and your doggedness in the industry. Well done, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Now, Mrs. Oshokoya, tell us, what is NZUKO 2024 all about?
NZUKO is simply meeting. It's a meeting, convergence, right? So when you say NZUKO, you're talking about a meeting. If you recall, sir, Tales by Moonlight, when people used to sit under the trees, and then sometimes on television, on NTA by Sister Nkem, and they would listen to stories, children would listen to stories and all that. If you also know, if you look way back growing up, you know that there were traditional things that were done as children, and adults were also having their own portion of that. They would gather to discuss issues about the community, the clan, the kindred, and in families would also gather to have meetings to see how they would tell their children and direct their paths towards the future. So NZUKO is yet another convergence. This time around, it's a convergence not for the individual families. It's a convergence not for states. It's a convergence not for organizations and all that. It is a convergence for the entirety of Africa. It is indeed a commemoration of the Africa Day.
An engagement that is not meant to be a one-off thing.
Woman I met just last year, she had an event, and I attended that event, and I was out by the way she had so much passion for things that concern Africa. And I just said to her, this is what I believe in. I want to support this cause. I want to support this kind of function. So I decided to encourage her by saying to her, tell me more about what you do and what you stand for and what you had done in the past. She told me, and for me, it was nostalgic in several ways. So NZUKO reminds me, it's more like a nostalgic attachment to the things that I held and I still hold very dear. And when the woman spoke, she spoke with so much passion, she spoke with so much concern, and I noticed that she sounded very intelligent, very informed, very exposed, well-traveled, and tell me, well-read too. And then when she sees things that are not supposed to be things that will stick onto the African nature or the African person or the African identity, you see her almost wanting to cry. So that passion was what I saw when she was having one of her events last year, and I got interested in knowing more. During the program, I noticed I needed to infuse a bit of Africanness into it. I was a guest. I went on and I took the microphone and I made a speech of about 5 to 10 minutes, and I saw people clapping. And I found myself, when I saw the masquerade, I danced with the masquerades. I did all that.
There?
Oh yes, there were masquerades there. So I danced with the masquerade, and people just got attached to knowing. Everybody wanted to know who I was, who is this woman. People applauded when I spoke. That made her happy. So she felt she could approach me on her own. She decided to approach me, and she told me that she wanted me to be to work with her. And I said, as I am, I want to just volunteer. Give me a time to volunteer. I have my reasons for wanting to volunteer for now. I do not want to go on anything called a salary or a pay, but I just want to volunteer to see if my vision can be in tandem and your vision can be in tandem with what I believe in. And so far, so good. So NZUKO, we are expecting people from everywhere, all over Africa, Africans. So it's not just a Nigerian affair, but we thought that since she's Nigerian, she would have wished that the Nigerian government would be the one driving and putting a bit of interest in. So I can see in the midst of all of this, there are lots of Nigerians. It feels you can't run away from your source. So there are a lot of Nigerians who are already showing interest coming from Nigeria, who are coming to attend the event, because what she wants to do is expose the ingenuity. A lot of inventors, innovators who have products, who have ideas, but who do not have anybody to know them, who do not have veritable platforms such as yours. You have volunteered freely to give her this coverage, you know? So this is her concern. She just feels this could be a platform where these young people, old people, or people who, no matter how old or young they are, who have ideas, can be encouraged to, to excel in what they know how to do. And maybe there are people, the likes of the Tony Lumelus of this world, the likes of Area Febabalola of this world, the likes of Dangotes of this world, and people across the globe, especially across Africa, who have the funds, who have the resources, who have the wherewithal, who can give them the coverage to say, hey, come, we see what you're doing. This can be useful for Africa. So that we together with her and her ideas, and a lot of people who are also doing similar things, they can change the narrative of Africa. Sir. Luckily, we have about 15 people, including yourself, who have decided to identify with this cause. Yeah. So I wish that there will be opportunities for people to say, those of you who have identified with this cause, to come for the event or something, so that you have eyewitness accounts on what she is doing. She has 15 appointments every day, meeting the Brazilians, meeting the Kenyans, meeting the Cote d'Ivoirians, meeting the Ghanaians, everywhere she's called, looking for associations, having meetings with all of them, looking for individuals and going into the stories, the archives, digging out people who have excelled in the medical line, those who have invested in education, in medicine, in technology, and all that. So she's looking for them, but she might not know this. So I said to myself, with the experience I had, as the marketing director, former marketing director of the largest network of Radio Nigeria, I said to myself, I'd had the opportunity of meeting with people, improving brand essence and improving visibility. I said to myself, this is an opportunity for me to see how I can see if my contacts still have a recognition and respect of who I am, to see if they can support what I support. You understand? So this is why I am here. It is passion that has driven me here. I am determined that come that day, she would have a story of good success to tell.
From your own viewpoint, we want to have an idea of who Winifred is.
Okay. Winifred is a Nigerian, but she likes to be addressed as an African child. That is Winifred. Winifred is an African child. I read something on LinkedIn when I posted some of my pushing the brand and the essence of the outing. A lot of people came on my LinkedIn account and a lot of people said they had encountered her and that she's a formidable African woman. Those who could write French said, right, she's incroyable, that's incredible, wonderful, and all that. So now, who is Winifred? Winifred is an African child who believes through her enterprise, she wants to see how she can do a change of narratives for Africa. The negative stigma, the negative image brought about by sometimes our own doings and sometimes things doings beyond us. She's had experience and she's encountered a lot of people from different parts of the world. She's well-traveled. So Winifred is an African who does not want Africa buried, who wants a renaissance, a new Africa, an Africa of our dream, and then who wants to find where the talents and the best of Africa is buried, see how she can use people, ideas, her strengths, her position, to see she can exhume those and bring them to limelight. So this is who Winifred is. And then when I said to her that during this event, I suggest we recognize people who will be pace setters, who the young or the old who have done it wrong can see and draw strength from. I said there are people, for instance, that I know from the environment I came from, who, for instance, are Nigerians, who have done so well in their field, succeeded. They may be young, they may be aged. Let us see how we can recognize these people or nominate them for awards. And she now said, blah, no. Well, you see, let us, eventually, one day she called me. She said, you said these people are pace setters. I said, yes. And you know, when you get a pace setter to lead or showcase what a pace setter is doing, the sense of time will tell and will be there for those who are coming after to say, can my leg fit into this footprint? Can I wear these shoes? Can I carry on from where this person stopped? So Shina agreed. So as I speak to you, there is, we are already sourcing for a few, they may not be up to 3 in the whole of Africa, that we want to recognize as people who have meritoriously done so well, who cannot, they come into a place, you can't ignore them. And if you can't ignore such people, it means you can't ignore Africa, because they represent the core essence of who Africans are. So that is it.
I'd like to give shortly the floor to Mr. Bola Adisa, who you've introduced, Dr. Nweke, who is consul at the Embassy of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and who is joining us today on behalf of the Ambassador, His Excellency Kayode Laro. Mr. Adisa, thank you so much for making the time to join us today.
The NZUKO thing would have, the evening would have a gala night, and at that gala night, there will be a celebration of culture, dance, drama, recognitions, speeches. There'll be a roundtable economic conference, summit. The roundtable group will be people, technocrats across Africa. I'm sure, sir, I could send you the names of those who would be speaking, even during the online event. The online event is almost fully booked because last year she had 16 countries, African countries. And guess what? Friends of Africa are already showing interest. Most of the people that we have had meetings with are people that we consider friends of Africa, but they're not Africans even, because they see that indeed what she's doing is something that is worthy of emulation. I can only, through what I do, wish her well. I can only, through what I do, pray that this event becomes something that, you know, African countries would now begin to look at how to be the one to say, perhaps this year, Nigeria will be the host country. Next year, Ghana will be the host country. Liberia will be just like that. So this is the dream I see her have. During this NZUKO thing, for instance, we're going to have a Yoruba man who's going to do the opening prayer. Last year, during her Ikenga, it was, I think, the man who did the collar breaking, it was, oh my God, tradition.
This kola nut and the whole bowl here don't understand English. They only understand my language. I can only say it in African language. And let me say that you are covered because you are Obuzo who is talking here. He's been to virtually all African countries except Egypt or South Africa. So what I'm saying here is calling all of you, say God will bless you. And so that's exactly what I'm saying in my language. Chukwu na Obioma akpọkwa n'ụtụtụ a ụmụ Afrịka niile nọkọrọsụ ọnụ na France na-akpa ka enu ga-esi dị mma nna biko kwenyerịwa gọziewe ijewa bụ ije ọma ka Chukwu nyewa amamife nyewa obi wa ga-eji welite Afrịka n'oge mbụ na-ekwuge m dị na around 210 na-arịọ Afrịka siwa biko Africa awake, oh Africa. May God grant us that prayer. God bless you all. Amen.
And then we're going to have people from Brazil do a bit of presentation. She has some people from Guyana, some people from Kigali. And
good morning from Berlin.
I just pray that we all share the dream of this. If I call her young lady, it would be disrespect. Of this, my big sister. Well, she's still a young lady. I'm a young lady too, am I not?
You spoke about the organization really looking up to, some people to give awards to in Africa.
Yes.
Do you have some names in mind across Africa?
Oh, yes. We have some names in mind, but I don't think I have her approval to give us such names until we have had confirmation. What we've also done is to say, okay, to have an array of display of culture, we said, let us have tables. There'll be Ghana table, Liberian table, whatever. Then there'll be organizations who can say, oh, yes, I want to brand this table. So that you will see branding come to play. And then we have, exquisite African cuisine. They'll be served and all that people have what they want, So we also give opportunity for people to have booths where they can do expositions, sell what they want to sell, as long as it relates and reconnect to the source Africa.
The event kicks off on the 25th of May. Do you
yes,
there's still an opening for those who may be interested in participating?
Yes, there is an opportunity for people to participate. The challenge is the visa. The challenge is the visa. The country has the right to give or to refuse the visa. You understand? So, and then we're also making sure that the people who would come are people who would have a sincere reason to be here and to see if they can attract interest in what they do. So there is opening. There is opening. But those who already have visas, fantastic. But I know that if it's country to country, word of mouth, encouragement, or telephone calls away, some countries can bend over and have some express visas issued. But that we do not know. The best we can do, we are doing. And then you and I know that there is a very wonderful relationship between the country where she's operating from and Nigeria. And this could also build more of such relationships. The online one, for instance, africafora.com. If you go to www.africafora.com, Africafora is one word, africafora.com. You would see a lot, even the past events about Africafora, and it will also give you a link to how you can participate on the online session. It will also give you a link as how you can sponsor, because sponsorship would also make her smile. It costs an arm and a leg to get some of these things done. You understand? There's delegates have to eat, delegates have to be picked up from the airport, delegates have to be given a few things, yes. But to make it more interesting for delegates, to give them opportunity also, those who've never been to France, and this is the week of the Olympics. So anybody coming now is coming at prime time. It's coming at prime time. You can see, it's better we have an eyewitness account of the wonderful renovations that are happening in this country. Perhaps people can learn from it too. So there are openings, and then if you go on the website, that information is given. And if you can call her number, my number, yes, would also be able to pick. But what I do, in most of the things I do, I run a quick verification with her so that I don't fall foul of the rules of where she's coming, because it's so easy to spoil what you didn't build. So I always, that's how my father taught me, to make sure that I seek clarification before I plunge into anything. So that is it. So there are opportunities for people to join online. There are also opportunities for people to come physically. If you have a visa, you can come. If you want to join the delegate session, you can join. If you just want to come and witness the fun and all that and the celebration of Africa and Africanness, you can also come. And then that is it. And the place is the venue for the event, which we're scared of now because it seems that the interest is this publicity that I think I'm doing subtly. It's elicited. It's going gagas. We thought we're thinking of 150 people in attendance, but for as we speak, it's looking like we may have to. But for now, it is a place called it's an address of 27 Saint-Ouen in Paris. Saint-Ouen in Paris. But if you go to the website, you get all the information that you need to have. So that's it.
Now, my final question, what improvement do you think NZUKO 2024 is coming up with over the previous ones?
I am an improvement. You know what it is? The FPZ that we bring into sponsorship, you and I, I had worked with you. You and I had worked together as colleagues, partners, and I remember all what you did with Abuad. Oh my God! At the shortest notice, you call this has to go, blah blah, and then because of who you are and the integrity that you bring, I'd always had to respect it. So. One of the things the difference is bringing is, oh my God, she says, Veronica, no, this cannot go. Can we do this? I said, let us try it. Even if it doesn't work, it is something you will learn. You would have learned. She said, okay, this is your area. Your advertising, your publicity, your sponsorship. Go ahead. So what will make me smile is for somebody to listen to this interview and say to us now, this women, there are women organizations, there are NGOs that we're looking at and thinking that this is something they should all have a ride and support. Someone can say, oh yes, bring this. And then she was shocked. I got my friend who is in advertising. I got my friend like you who has a television station. I got this who has a YouTube station. And she now said, hey, Veronica. She now calls me Onyike. Oyike means the powerful one. And I said, I'm learning to be like you because she's also an Oyike. We never sleep. 4 a.m. I've woken her up with a text. So we're waiting for this to end. But then in July, there is another event because people are already asking, when is your next event? So the difference is that there's an expansion of the scope. There's an expansion of how the team is, and I made her realize that she has a very tall dream, and the dream she will get her to that height. You can't dream big and not fulfill it. So in fulfillment of that dream, I brought myself and some other people. She's had other partners. There's Ozana Gogo, who is an NGO sort of thing in France here. And there is one other man who's been into all this African dance and all that. So, well, you know what? I wish you could come. I have 2 shoes I want to wear that day. I have the high heel shoes and I have the flat flying dancing shoes. I don't know which tune of the African music we play, whichever one, I'm equal to it. I'll shake it and I'll dance it and I'll be happy that I did, all in celebration of Africa.
We were speaking with Veronica Ngozi Oshokoya, a former director of marketing at the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. She is a passionate supporter of widows, orphans, and she is a youth developer, doing this on the platform of her NGO. Today, she is a volunteer publicist for Africa Fora, especially in the organization of the current NZUKO 2024. Mrs. Oshokoya, thanks for sparing this time.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for having me on your show, and I wish you well. Thank you very much for always believing in the things I do and for tracing me and tracking me. Thank you, sir.
People of the Fountain.